It was a hot summer day in Phoenix, and I was just 8 years old. My parents and I drove for over 2 hours out into the desert so that we could take part in something special. We were about to join a human chain across America called Hands Across America. It was a national charity event that was organized on May 26, 1986. The idea was it was a fundraiser to help the hungry and homeless here in America. Over 6.5 million people took part in this, and it was a big source of national pride and togetherness that hasn't really been seen since. Looking back, I've wondered what caused musical promoter Ken Krager to organize this Hands Across America event. I did some research on the 80s, and I found that there was 2 large charity events that took place the previous year, and I think that these were Ken Krager's inspiration. Firstly, on July 13, 1985, there was a live satellite concert that was broadcast internationally. They called it Live Aid. It was the brainchild of Bob Geldof, and over 1 billion people watched it. He organized over 16 hours of live music to be broadcast from London and Philadelphia. It was a fundraiser to help benefit the big humanitarian disaster of the time, which was the African famine. There was many artists involved, and they all donated their time. Just to name a few, there was Sting, U2, Queen, Elton John, Paul McCartney, Madonna, Mick Jagger, and Bob Dylan. Over $125 million was raised for the starving masses in Africa by Live Aid. It was a big success. On the stage in Philadelphia, Bob Dylan outspokenly said, "I hope that some of the money raised for the people of Africa, maybe just a little bit, 1 or 2 million, goes to pay on the mortgages of some of our farms." He was talking about the farm crisis that our family farmers here in the U.S. were facing in the 1980s. There were many families that were losing their farms, and the suicide rate among farmers had doubled. I think it was Bob Dylan's bold comments that spurred Willie Nelson, John Mellencamp, and Neil Young to organize the second large charity event of 1985. It was called the Farm Aid Concert. It happened on September 22nd, 1985, and it was held in Illinois. The purpose of this event was to raise money and awareness for the struggling American farmers. Over 80,000 people attended the first one, and they got to enjoy 14 hours of live music. There was a huge lineup, over 50 artists, such as the Beach Boys, Bon Jovi, Kenny Rogers, and Waylon Jennings. This event was so popular that it became an annual fundraiser, and this year they're holding the 30th Farm Aid Concert. The first event in 1985 only raised $9 million, despite them hoping that they'd be able to raise over $50 million. Despite this, the event was touted to be a success. John Mellencamp was declared, "If nothing else, forget the money. We are here for the awareness." This makes me think about the awareness that the Hands Across America event put into our national mind on charity. It was such a large project that it took months to organize. The main organizer was Ken Krager, and he told ABC News that it was very much like organizing a political campaign. But instead of getting out the vote, it was get out and hold hands. Since it was such a large event, and due to the high cost of organizing a human chain from one side of the country to the other, there was many corporate sponsors that got involved. There was Citibank, Coca-Cola, McDonald's. And in January of 1986, a Super Bowl ad was taken out during the broadcast to bring national awareness. There was huge publicity that was generated for Hands Across America. There was many notable people that took place in holding hands that day. There was Robin Williams, Barbra Streisand, Jerry Seinfeld, Oprah, Prince, Jane Fonda, and even President Reagan took part from in the White House porch. The chain started in Battery Park, New York City, and went across the country to Long Beach, California. There were people from all walks of life that held hands and sang songs. The idea was that each person would give $10 to join the chain, and that this would help raise money for the hungry and homeless of America. In the end, there was big gaps where they had to use ribbons to span. the areas. Also, only $17 million were raised. There had been so much promised of large goals for Hands Across America that some people declared it a failure. However, Ken Krager disagreed. In his book about the event, he states, Hands Across America was a smashing success. It planted new seeds of hope in millions of Americans and delivered a message that the first step towards eliminating hunger and homelessness in this country is for each one of us to take responsibility. I think this message still rings true today, and through the Hands Across America event, I feel blessed that I was exposed at a young age to the importance of making a difference for those less fortunate.